Captain
Um,
America.
Captain America: Brave New World. It comes out in just over a week, just under a
Yes.
week as you're listening to this.
Yes.
There is,
Potentially the first hit, like, we are back moment of MCU
yeah,
films.
but this is kicking off the superhero year, which
Mm,
looks to be one of the strongest we've had on
yeah.
paper. I've got many feelings about this film. It's very interesting. I think the big thing for me is I don't know what to expect. And normally that would worry me with Marvel, but the last 3 or 4 times I've not known what to expect, I've been pleasantly surprised.
Fair. I think I'm optimistic mainly because everything we've kind of seen since this vocal of we've switched gears, we know things haven't been great, we're making an effort, and then we've had Agatha, um, obviously the animated shows, everything's feeling like, okay, this seems like they've turned the right page. The trailer for this and the vibe for this we know is very Winter Soldier esque,
Hmm.
which we both love, which also fills me with confidence. We're getting Red Hulk finally after people have kind of asked for that for years.
Yeah.
I I'm optimistic that this is gonna be good, and it's gonna be that first thing that the first film in a while that people go, people that kind of written off the MCU, like the casual fans that got into it because of Infinity War and all the hype and everything, and then afterwards they very quickly gave up on it because it missed the mark a couple of times. I think they'll be the ones that after this will go, oh, is MCU back to making good films again?
It's I'm in a rough spot with Marvel at the minute. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the stuff they're putting out. But I am finding myself increasingly asking the question to what end? Because I am so convinced that the soft reboot is coming,
Hmm,
that a lot of the stuff that they're selling as connectivity, I'm
isn't gonna
struggling
matter.
to care about.
I get you.
So, like, the big revelation in this is that Tiamat sticking out the earth is adamantium.
Yeah,
In my head, I'm like, cool. The mutants don't exist on this earth. We're not getting them until after Secret Invasion, by which point it's going to be made so that they always existed. So why do I give a fuck that that's adamantium? This is what I'm struggling to reconcile. It's not hurting my enjoyment of the films, but I feel like, and I never know how to say stuff like this without sounding big headed, but I feel like they are saying stuff like that in the marketing material
hmm.
so that people like me who care about what adamantium is are supposed to go, ooh, X-Men type stuff. And
I
I'm just here like, that's not going to matter. So why should I care right now? Why can't I just have a Captain America story?
I think it's the opposite because, like you're saying, you are pretty certain there's a soft reboot coming because you can see the things, you know what Secret War is, like you know what events are going to be happening off the titles of these films, so you have a pretty good idea that okay, we're going into a soft reboot. The comic book fans probably also know that because they're like you, they know what comes in the comics, they know what is probably coming. I think them saying, "Oh, this is adamantium," this is kind of the focus of the film as they're fighting over it, is for the casual watchers that know Wolverine, that grew up on the original X-Men, like, "Oh, adamantium's the metal Wolverine's made out of." Oh, that's that thing from Eternals that was kind of forgotten about. We've always asked what the fuck happened to that giant fucking thing sticking out of the ground. Oh, they actually have a reason for it now. I think they're
Mm.
tying up a loose end there. They're throwing adamantium because they know the casual fan knows what that metal is because of Wolverine. Whether they're going to actually use it for anything or not, probably not. Like you say, they're going to hit a soft reboot. I think they're actually more trying to use it to get the casual fans
To
to
come
care
back. Maybe.
because then they
Um,
think, oh, Wolverine's metal. Wolverine, the mutants are coming, not knowing that the mutants are coming after soft reboot.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I think I'm kind of stuck in a point where I'm bored of. Is bored the right word? I can't think of a better word. I'm still bored. Bored of this idea that everything is the end of the world, and I
Fair.
want character-driven stories. So when I like I said, when I'm like convinced that we're not getting the mutants until the soft reboot, and this is Sam Wilson's first outing in a film as Captain America, I'm like, why is so much of the marketing material focused on adamantium, Eternals? And I'm just like, show me what Sam's doing. Show me what. And don't get me wrong, I do think we are going to get a decent amount of that because Winter Soldier was a very character focused film. But I just, and again, mate, I guess at the end of the day, the marketing for these films isn't for me because I'm the person who's buying the ticket anyway.
Yeah.
So the marketing people, when they decide what goes in what, are going to be going right. The people who might buy a ticket but currently don't know, what do we need to show them to get them to buy a ticket? I do get that, but it kind of makes the marketing for a lot of this stuff pointless for me because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there anyway. Show me something that actually makes me excited.
I think the difficult thing is because I think there's something else they're also trying to combat is there was a period where everyone was calling them out on their trailers and stuff of being, oh, you've just revealed the whole film. Like, we know what's happening, which is almost like kind of what they're trying to combat here, where they're not really giving us, like you say, we don't know what Sam's going to be up to. Like, we don't really get an indication of what his character is going to go through in this film, other than it involves Red Hulk. The US is currently dealing with this adamantium thing, so that's going to be part of it.
Yeah.
And he's
Serpent
obviously
Spidey's
fighting this
cutting
idea
down.
of the new mantle of being the new Cap,
Yeah.
which I think, unfortunately, it's tough because it's like, you're right. They're not going to market to you because they're pretty convinced you're going to go anyway. They need to get the people back that have given up on the MCU, which is with these like very clear, oh, here's, like you say, here's adamantium, like, come on back.
Yeah. I don't. It's a weird spot. I've not been in this spot with Marvel before, so it's just kind of weird trying to pass out my feelings about it. And unfortunately, the big bit of news around the film at the minute is what Anthony Mackie said not a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
on the press tour, which basically boiled down to Captain America has nothing to do with America, and people fucking hated that.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. People
And
who don't understand the character were like, what do you mean he's got nothing to do with America? He has America in his name. So that means he's everything to do with America. And people obviously called them out and were like, no, Captain America represents what America should be. And the whole issue is most of the time America is never what it's meant to be.
so I think I can't remember if we were doing the podcast when I made this analogy, or if I even said it to you or someone else. In my head, the way in the MCU I've always viewed Steve, Bucky, and Sam is Steve is what America should be and what the ideals would make you think it is trying to be. It is truth above all else. It is justice above all else. It is trying your best above all else. No corruption, no kind of compromise. It will do the right thing.
Yeah.
Bucky is what is closer to what America actually is. Deeply flawed, trying its best, but the corruption of powerful people has had a lasting impact. And then Sam is the next generation trying their best to live up to the ideals of Steve.
Yeah.
Without the enhancements of the super soldier serum. Or like just being like a concept in like that's how I've always used the allegory of them three.
Yeah.
Which is why when there was the debate when Sam got given the shield over Bucky, everyone was like, well, surely it should be Bucky. I was like, no, because Bucky is what America actually is, not
Mhm.
the ideals of America. And this is the thing that Anthony Mackie is completely fucking right. Shock horror, the person who's read the fucking comics and worked on the scripts and been in this industry for years, understands Captain America as a concept better than knuckle dragging fucking morons wearing a red cap with 4 letters on them.
Who read the word America in the name
Yeah,
of the character, and they're like, "Oh well, everything." All he means
exactly.
is the stars and stripes.
Exactly. The ideal Captain America fights the US government at every fucking
Mm.
turn if it is not doing the morally correct thing.
Well, just look at Civil War.
Yes, exactly. Like, let me be completely clear, and we'll get a bit accidentally real political. Captain America would fucking do anything it took to get Donald Trump out of power.
Yes,
The
he'd
the
be
notion
losing
that
his
Captain
shit.
America, the notion that Captain America would accept a convicted rapist as the most important person in America is fucking ridiculous. And if you genuinely think that of the character, you have fundamentally misunderstood the character. Captain America was created by 2 Jewish immigrants fleeing Nazi Germany. Do you really think Captain America has any notion whatsoever of standing up for a fucking fascist? Get a grip.
Do you know what I think? The people with the red caps that go, "Oh, but Captain America is all about America because it's in his name." Do you know who they visualize? It's Homelander.
Yes. Yeah.
And he is the meme parody of Captain America. But
Yeah.
in their heads, that's what they think Captain America is.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if Captain America was the true reflection of what they would want a Captain America to be, it would also be Homelander. But the boys stopped being subtle and started being a ton of bricks, and then the right wing got angry at them because they didn't understand they were the butt of the joke the entire time. You can't win. But the bottom line is Anthony Mackie was fucking right, and if you think he was wrong, you have room temperature IQ on a good day.
I did enjoy the comic fans and even like MCU fans that have learned more about like the fandom being like, "No, you're all fucking idiots." Like, just look at any of these like comic people throwing comic panels at them. Anybody like people just being like, "Go watch Civil War." Like, I did enjoy the stand up against that, and like not needing Anthony Mackie to come out and be like clarify or
Yeah,
anything.
it's craziness. But I am excited for the film. I'm curious to see what we get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for Sam Wilson's full debut as Captain
Yes.
America. I think the character deserves it. I think Anthony Mackie deserves it. I am ever more enamored with Harrison Ford. Every time that man does anything, I love him. I loved him as Han Solo as a child. I loved him as Indiana Jones as a child. As I got older and realised the distaste he had for Star Wars, pardon me, I loved him even more. And watching him go through the motions of dealing with another massive universe is fucking hilarious.
Someone asked him a question, probably on a red carpet somewhere recently, and it was like, "Did you speak to Mark Ruffalo for some Hulk advice?" And he was like, "No, he wasn't available, so I just kind of winged it. Hopefully, I've done him proud."
Yeah. I love Harrison Ford. I saw another one from a Comic-Con panel or something, an event panel.
Mm.
And someone who was clearly very nervous. So shout out to them for like being able to brave it and ask the question because it would be intimidating. He said, "A question for Mr. Ford," which would intimidate the fuck out of me in all fairness. He was like, "Is it your plan to reboot every universe you've been a part of? Star Wars, Blade Runner, everything?" He was like, "Absolutely." At this point, I would be dumbfounded to find something about Harrison Ford I dislike. He's such a Chad. He's a brilliant actor who cares about doing a good job, but past that, he doesn't give a fuck, and that is how people should be about their job. Turn up, do the best job you can, but once you're not working, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
It's a man after my own heart in that regard. But I am very excited. Obviously,
Same.
film comes out on Valentine's Day over here. So me and Jenna will be finishing work, going for a Nando's, and then going to watch the film. And that'll be our Valentine's Day.
Yeah, same.
Corey in his left hand will be going for dinner.
Yeah, I'm leaving my right hand at home.